How does cooking relate to the female gender identity? I know I'm not a great cook. I can make a mean sandwich, and those frozen skillet meals I've gotten down to a science. But somehow, as of late, my subpar cooking skills have gotten me down. I no longer proudly display my store-bought cookie platter at parties. I mumble through my explanation of reheating a frozen apple pie. It tastes the same as homemade anyway. I feel ashamed about this fact, especially when talking to some of my friends who are great at this activity. I also know that the cultural landscape no longer requires women to be homemakers in the sense that they were 60 years ago. But there is still an expectation that I've experienced in my own relationships and when discussing it with my friends that cooking is a well-looked-upon skill to have. Even in this day and age, women do the majority of cooking in households, and I thought cooking was still considered to be a woman's work. An article published in 2010 found that women spend 2.5 years of their lives cooking for the family. That's roughly 9 hours of home cooking a week over the course of their adult lives from ages 18 to 65. That means they spend a total of 2.51 years preparing food for themselves and their family over this period. However, this figure is half of what it used to be between 1945 and 1965. Married women would spend roughly 21 hours a week cooking for the family during these decades. I had 3 growing boys and a husband to feed. They were always hungry. I had to like my kitchen because I spent so much time there. I learned from my mother and my grandmother. I taught your father how to cook too. He loved it so much. I never thought about Harry cooking dinner instead of me, but if I had wanted him to, he would have. He always helped me cut up apples for my strudel, or peel potatoes. I liked making dinner for my family. I still like cooking. It's a way to show the people you love that you care about them. According to Leanna Sayer, cooking is a part of the cultural feminine identity. Married women continue to spend more time doing housework, cooking, and grocery shopping than men, and economic resources influence a woman's domestic actions more strongly than men's. To explain this, gender theorists point out gender figures into identities, family interactions, societal norms, and opportunity structures. The way to a man's heart, so we've been told, is a good working knowledge of pot, pan, and mold. The talented gal who can whip up a pie rates a well-deserved rave from her favorite guy. A juicy red steak or a tender fish fillet done to a turn in a bright copper skillet will soothe the rough edges of tempers, no foolin', and leave the man happy, contented, and drooling. To the bride. According to Vicky Swinbank, in the last century, men have traditionally borne the responsibility of earning monetary income and spend more time outside of the home. Women have traditionally been homemakers in part because of wage and salary discrepancies. Men would earn more than women, so it generally fell to women to take care of the domestic duties, which included cooking. It's no surprise that men spend less time cooking, but I suspect that the number of men spending more time in the kitchen is increasing all the time. The kitchen is no longer a woman's domain. TV chef Anthony Worrell Thompson.
My name's Drew. I'm a man, and I like to cook. I mean, anybody can cook. I mean, some of the top chefs in the world are men. And, there's quite a few women as well, but, Julia Child, and then, you look at Thomas Keller. I mean, it doesn't matter who cooks it as long as it tastes good. And, I think men have been in the kitchen since the dawn of time. The hunter-gatherer society, when the men were out hunting for their clans, they had an overnight trip and, they had to cook for themselves,
So if it isn't considered a woman's job to cook, why is it a woman's dominant domestic activity? It's not as though modern men expect their modern women to slave away in the kitchen for them. Both sexes claim cooking is an enjoyable activity, and it's not like women have a dearth of career options available. According to Cynthia Epstein, women make up about 51% of the workforce. I realize now that it comes down less to a cultural identity and more to a hobby or a passion. In the end, if I want to have my cake and eat it too, I guess I'm going to have to bake it.